Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are diving into a fascinating area of trust law, constructive trusts. In simple terms, a constructive trust is an equitable remedy imposed by the courts. Unlike express trusts, which are deliberately set up by someone, constructive trusts are created by law to address situations where someone has wrongfully gained an advantage or where it's simply fair that they hold certain assets for someone else. Let's start with a straightforward explanation. Think of a constructive trust as a way for the courts to do justice in situations where someone holds property or assets unfairly. Imagine someone gains property by deception or unfair methods. The court can declare that person as a trustee holding the property for the benefit of the rightful owner. In essence, it's a tool to prevent someone from unjustly benefiting at the expense of another. Now let's look at two significant cases that laid the groundwork for the doctrine of the constructive trust. These are pivotal in understanding when and why courts would impose such a trust. The first case is Attorney General for Hong Kong and Reid. In this case, Mr. Reid, a government prosecutor in Hong Kong, accepted bribes in order to not prosecute certain criminals. He used the bribe monies to buy properties in New Zealand. The question before the court was, should these properties in New Zealand bought with tainted money be considered his own, or should he be deemed a trustee holding them for the government of Hong Kong? The court found that Reid was in fact holding those properties on constructive trust for the Hong Kong government. The rationale was simple. Since the bribe money was gained unlawfully, he shouldn't benefit from it. The properties acquired with that money were therefore held in trust for the government, and any profit generated would belong to the government as well. This case underlined that a constructive trust could be imposed whenever it's deemed unfair for someone to benefit from unlawful gains. Another foundational case is Regal, Hastings and Gulliver. Here, the directors of a cinema company, Regal, took advantage of a business opportunity available to the company. They used personal funds to invest in additional cinema properties, which later generated significant profit. When new management took over Regal, the cinema owner, they argued that the former directors had breached their duty by personally benefiting from an opportunity that belonged to the company. The court held that the directors were indeed trustees of the profit for the company. Even though they hadn't technically done anything illegal, they still had a fiduciary duty to act in the company's best interests and not personally benefit from such opportunities. Therefore, a constructive trust was imposed, making them accountable for the profits made. Now, how does this doctrine apply in Singapore? In Singapore, the principles of a constructive trust are mainly derived from English law, but with adaptations for local needs. Constructive trusts in Singapore are imposed under similar circumstances as seen in Reid and the Regal cases, especially when there's unjust enrichment, breach of fiduciary duty, or wrongful acquisition of property. For instance, under Singapore law, if a company director exploits corporate opportunities for personal gain, just like Regal, they might be deemed to be a constructive trustee of the profits. The guiding principle here is to prevent unjust enrichment and to ensure fair outcomes. So the courts in Singapore will often look at each case unique facts in order to determine whether a constructive trust should be imposed. To make this even clearer, let's look at three examples where a constructive trust might arise. Imagine a trustee of a charitable foundation who uses the foundation's funds to buy personal property. Even though the property is in the trustee's name, the court could declare a constructive trust, meaning that the trustee holds it for the benefit of the foundation. Next, suppose an employee accidentally receives double their salary and spends it on investments. Since that money rightfully belongs to the company or the employer, the court could declare a constructive trust over those investments, ensuring that any profits benefit the employer. Finally, let's consider a corporate officer who misuses confidential information from his employer to secure a lucrative contract for his own new business. Here, a constructive trust could be imposed, requiring them to hold the profits from that contract for their former employer, since it is unjust to profit from misusing other people's confidential information. The constructive trust is a powerful tool in equity law, ensuring fairness in cases where legal ownership doesn't align with what is fair. In Singapore, the courts have been willing to adopt and apply this doctrine to ensure justice prevails in cases of unjust enrichment, abuse of power, of fiduciary misconduct. This doctrine serves as a reminder of the court's role in balancing legal rights with ethical obligations. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.